Hello and welcome to another installation of Tech Talk number 5. Hello Kurt, Mike and Josh. It's been another interesting week, so I thought we start off with you, Mike. What's been happening in the industry?
Look, super busy out there and there's a lot happening, lots of great work. And one thing that I've been on my mind is I have heard about Kurt talking about doing samples and mock-ups on jobs and that sort of thing. I'm just wondering, is that a consistent thing that you're always doing, regardless of what sort of job it is? And is that something that you always try and do?
Yeah, look, Mike, on Rock Up Group doing samples and mock-ups, it's purely based on a lot of the time. At the moment, I'm getting to jobs where I haven't visually seen the job beforehand. I know very little about the concrete placement. I know very little about the project as a whole. So I'm basically getting onto these jobs, green, and trying to, produce this floor that these people require, the client requires. So, yes, I do samples on majority of my floors or mock-ups. It's purely based on procedure, what the process is going to be moving forward on the rest of the project. It can also be used as a guideline of what the client's going to get and to what their expectations are. I think I come across it a lot, and it's really funny when I get to some of these jobs and they go, you just need to do the floor like the sample that the contractor's done over there in the corner. And I go over to the corner and I see 2 or 3 little samples done by hand. So my first thing to a client when we're talking about what they're going to get now on their project is this has been done by a small little tool, and I'm just about to bring in a big beast of a machine which is not going to replicate what you have there in the corner of your house. So that's the key point right there when you're dealing with the client, is that their expectations are this in the corner, and you may have to change what their expectations are because you are now putting on a totally different machine and running a whole different process that you might have not even, you don't know who did that sample prior to you getting there. So not only am I doing a sample to show the client what they're going to get at the end of the day, it's more about what process I'm going to run through on the job as well to see if there's going to be any hidden problems within the floor. I'm going to take it all the way up. Now, when I'm talking about doing a sample, it's quite a large sample. It still becomes part of the floor. It's not just picking a different room in the house or a corner somewhere that's not going to be seen. The sample will be run out as part of the floor, purely to regain that time. When I've done that sample, I'm going to continue on with my process. I can then blend that sample back into the rest of the floor. If all going well, the sample works right.
Mm-hmm. What's a typical size of a sample in, say, a residential application where we are doing the sample to, set the expectations and agree upon a product with the client?
I would be taking up quite a sizable sample.
9-inch polisher.
Hey?
9-inch polisher.
9-inch polisher. I'll give you a bit of an example just quickly. I was on a project this week and I went into a job that was supposed to be a surface polish. I had not seen the floor prior. I was helping out another contractor. His idea on it was that it was just a surface polish. Got in there, the floor was delaminated. It was not a surface that I would want to surface polish on, you know what I mean? It just wasn't, I wouldn't put that product out there in the marketplace. So discussions have to be made then and there that the process and the client's expectations are now going to change. Not only that, the budget's going to change because we're going in at this price to do this process. Now, if we have to now manipulate the floor in order to get it to a polishable surface, that comes with time and money. So the discussions need to be had then and there. All parties agreed that this is going to be the new process. And after having those conversations with everyone involved, the builder and the client, we turned the machine on for a while, and I started going, and that's when I really realised the sample is really going to be the key here, and took that whole area up as a sample. And I had some issues throughout the floor. There were some problem areas, but I needed to know how, in this time frame that I had and the budget that I had, how was I going to get to the end result. And by bringing that floor all the way up, it set my process. The clients walked in, they loved it. The builder loved it, and it took me 3.5, 4 hours out of my day to do that process, and it just made the rest of the week go smoothly.
Did you love it?
Did I love it? I think it was pretty damn good floor, to be honest.
Excellent.
I had a lot of challenges throughout it moving forward. I mean, I had a lot of sunlight in there. I didn't have a great surface to it. Like the surface wasn't profiled great because I was trying to give them as less exposure as I possibly could. So my densification became process driven as well. So there was a lot of things that I changed up in my process in order to get that result, but I was happy at the end.